Hi, my name's Bouskill. I'm a medical anthropologist, and I'm checking in from my apartment in Vienna, Austria, where I'm looking at women's experiences of breast cancer vis-a-vis women's experience of breast cancer in the United States. And I'm happy to say I'm here on a Fulbright grant. The question is, had I always lived my life off the charts, or was this sort of unconventional lifestyle more of a new thing for me? Of course, it's a fairly new thing after growing up in very homogenous suburbia outside of Buffalo, New York. I really grew up thinking I was going to be a very traditional cancer researcher, sort of working towards finding the cure. And the more that I traveled, and the more that I understood the disease, and the more that I met people who were affected by it all over the world, this problem of cancer, I realized that there was so much more to look at rather than sort of sitting in a lab and tinkering with cancer cells all day. There were other projects and other ways that we could think about tackling this problem, or at least making people's lives better. And that's what led me to anthropology, particularly medical anthropology. It was a way of having a broader explanatory model, one that included biology but also included people's life factors and the things in their social and cultural worlds that were affecting their experience of having cancer. And that's what I find incredibly rewarding. That's what's brought me to Vienna, Austria, in addition to South Africa and in Peru. And I'm thrilled to say that I feel like what I'm doing is making a difference in perhaps a more unconventional sense. When did I realize it wasn't about one specific hit? It was more about the all-encompassing lifestyle. I'd say traveling had a lot to do with that, and living in different parts of the world. When I traveled to Vietnam, I saw the sickle and hammer and twinkling lights in front of the Haute Couture house of Chanel, and I thought, oh, God, that's just great, you know. The Vietnamese fought to get the French out for years and years, and now a Chanel bag, like you can get here, like you can get in Dubai, Manhattan, anywhere you name it, the same bags are all over, and everybody wants the same thing. Everything started to look the same. You can get sushi anywhere you want in this world. And I thought, God, that's so boring. That's not the hit life. That's the shit life. I think real exclusivity these days is the ability to engage with people, to speak their language, to be invited into their real life worlds beyond this sort of superficial shell of commercialism. And that's really what led me to my job and to this lifestyle that I like to lead. It's not about me going around in the world and expecting people to speak English. It's about having the idea that it's just more fun to know what's sort of beyond this really homogenous commercial level that we're seeing all over the place. Being in a PhD program or being in any sort of graduate program, I think it becomes really difficult to not get sucked into a milestone mentality. Everyone around you is an overachiever. Everyone around you is fighting for a job in a really tight and competitive job market these days. And it's hard to ask yourself, what am I doing? Am I doing this because I love it, or am I doing it because I feel like I have to? And I think that a lot of us, especially young women, we've sort of grown up with this idea of you've got to do this, you've got to achieve at almost every single point. None of that's going to keep you warm at night, and none of it's going to lead you to a path of fulfillment, I think. I think that a lot of those small accomplishments are really fleeting. And I think one way to sort of focus your energy elsewhere is to think about what's the impact for someone else. What does this actually mean? How is my work going to engage with someone else on a more personal level? And I think that can help you from not getting sucked into a mentality where you think that it's all about just climbing some ladder. Life's not that way. It's not teleological. I mean, you've got to go from this point to this point to this point to get to some end result. But I think that realizing that self-actualization really is about the thrill being in the chase and not about the end result can really lead to a lot more happiness. It certainly has for me.